Japanese anime have a variety of genres, and unique varied story themes. Many anime titles have been released and are able to attract the attention of Japanese anime lovers around the world. One of the anime part that is unique and fun to watch is the main character, which at first glance looks weak but actually very strong, somewhat similar to the main character who hides his strength. This time I'm gonna give you anime recommendations where the main character looks weak but actually overpowered. Hello anime lovers, it's Nats from Aninats channel. I'm gonna bring you some cool anime scenes, compilation, and reviews from animes that I personally watched. So, let's get started. Lord of Vermilion, the Crimson King. High-frequency resonance is observed in the vicinity of Tokyo, and the red fog rolls into the city. Those who hear the sound, humans and animals alike, pass out, losing consciousness. Everything shuts down in Tokyo, believing that the fog is carrying an unknown virus that causes an epidemic. However, 6 days later, after the incident, people wake up as if nothing happened. After that, Tokyo's sealed-off city sections gradually return to normal. However, since the high-frequency resonance, some bizarre events start to happen, and people find themselves being pulled deeper into more mysteries. Meanwhile, young people start to become aware of themselves and release their power hidden in their blood. Together, being led by something unknown, they meet, communicate, and face the unavoidable circle of fate, sacrificing their own lives. The beginning. On the islands of Cremona, a vigilante runs amok. Celebrated by some and hunted by others, the notorious Killer Beat takes justice into his own hands, armed with a sharp blade and superhuman abilities. Unable to apprehend this renegade, the Royal Investigation Service, RIS, calls upon the expertise of Keith Flick, a legendary investigator. While Koku is a demi-human with the ability to shape-shift parts of his body into wings and blades. Both of them are up against the Market Maker, a hidden organization that controls the government of the island, involving domestic terrorism and human experiments. In their journey, they start to understand the magical powers that Koku has and where they came from. Wandering Witch, the journey of Elena. Since childhood, Elena has always been fascinated by the stories written within her favorite book, especially those about a renowned witch who had numerous great travels across the world. Wanting to experience the adventure herself, Elena strives to become a witch, and despite the numerous trials that come her way, she eventually succeeds. Elena finally embarks on her long-awaited journey, in which she meets many people along the way, learning their various stories. Through all of this, she explores the world at its fullest, experiencing both its bright and dark sides, starting her legendary tale. I'm standing on a million lives. Yusuke Yatsuya has always disliked Tokyo, but he especially hates the people who live in it. He would rather thrive in a virtual world than try to get along with those around him. One day at the end of school, Yusuke enters a state of free fall, and the world begins to change around him. Dropping into a large pool of water, the first thing he sees when he comes to his senses is an assortment of enormous monsters. He soon finds out that he has been brought into a game world and that he must complete a quest within 14 days. Lupin III. Lupin III is the world's most wanted gentleman thief and the grandson of Arsène Lupin. He sometimes appears incompetent, but mostly as a charade to catch his opponents off guard. While he has been arrested and thrown in jail on a number of occasions, he has always managed to break out. He also has a fondness for fancy gadgets from time to time, such as where his belt features many small gadgets. His infatuation with women is perhaps his biggest weakness. The main woman in Lupin III is the femme fatale Fujiko Mine, who Lupin III can never tell is working with or against him, as she often lands him in undesirable situations. He continues his greatest thievery adventure to surpass his grandfather's legacy of thievery. Kagaster of an insect cage. In 2095, a new disease suddenly broke out which could transform people into giant insects, called Kagasters, in a mere 20 minutes. Only beheading the victim during that time could stop the transformation. Once transformed, victims lose their minds and become impervious to most normal weapons. 30 years later, 2/3 of the human population is gone. Individuals who specialize in killing the giant bugs are called exterminators. Among those, a young man named Kiddo is the best. He is extremely efficient at killing Kagasters and believes that he should never hesitate to kill it, even if they still appear human. Live. Chuda Kokonase is a middle school boy who has been able to hear a voice that no one else could hear for as long as he could remember. One day, a strange blue alien named Chips appeared and recruited him to the space police, Live, because he fit the requirements. During his entrance test, he discovered the voice he hears actually comes from a small white alien living in his body, who he later named Dalek. Combining his power with Dalek, he was able to complete his exam using a special power used only by aliens. After becoming an officer, Chuda along with his co-worker and classmate, have to work together to protect the universe from dangerous criminals. Muyo and Roji's Bureau of Supernatural Investigation. Muyo and Roji are masters of magical law and solve many cases having to do with ghosts, monsters, and all things supernatural. Muyo is said to be the youngest magical law enforcer graduated from the magical law school. He paired up with Roji, and the two formed their own business of exorcising spirits. Muyo seems to be sleeping most of the time, since large amount of spiritual energy is needed for him to perform exorcism. He is also extremely powerful, being able to perform a judgment that normally requires 4 top-notch enforcers by himself. Muyo also can speak the language of the underworld, allowing him to speak with the creatures that he summons to carry out his sentences. This talent also allows him to command the creatures to pause or stop the punishment that they were delivering. Fate Kaleid Liner Prisma Ilia. This anime is a stand-alone anime that tells the story about one of the 7 sorcerers in the famous anime Fate Stay Night. Iliasville von Einsborn is an ordinary elementary school student, who becomes a magical girl when a magical hero spirit deems her to be its master. When the kaleidostic magical ruby selects Ilia to become its new master, she becomes a magical girl, who collects magic class cards. In her journey to collect the cards, Ilia must face other sorceress and hero spirits. As she fights her enemies, her true skill comes out more than her ordinary schoolgirl appearance. Toilet-bound Hanako-kun. Kamame Academy is famous for its rumors regarding its 7 wonders and supernatural occurrences. One of the most well-known of these tales is that of Hanako-san, the ghost of a young girl who haunts the school's bathrooms. Rumors claim that if one successfully manages to summon Hanako-san, she will grant her summoner any wish. Lured by the gossip, many people have tried to call upon her, yet every attempt has failed. However, when Nene Yashiro, a girl hoping for romantic fortune, dares to summon Hanako-san, she discovers that the rumored girl is actually a boy. After summons Hanako-kun, she is unwillingly entangled in the world of the supernatural, becoming Hanako-kun's assistant in maintaining the fragile balance between mortals' world and apparitions. And that's all for this video about weak-looking overpowered main characters anime. Remember, there's still a lot of good anime out there that I will bring up to you guys, so don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you won't miss any of my video. Also leave a comment below if you know a good anime that I might missed. See you next time.